The Detroit Lions have one of the best offensive lines in the National Football League, and it's very possible it could be top three. And one thing that we didn't get to see last year was that coveted offensive line. All five starters take the field at the time of the preseason. We were missing a key piece to that offensive line, Halapoulivaati Vaitai. He had to miss the entire season, and that offensive line never got a chance to play together. As a matter of fact, he had surgery in September and spent most of the time back at his ranch, only coming by really when the Detroit Lions were making that playoff push late in the year. And he considered retiring. And he told Dave Brickett of the Free Press, the Detroit Free Press, that he had considered retiring, but he basically took some time, recuperated, talked to his wife, and then came to a decision that he just had to return back to the Detroit Lions. When it came to playing again, here's what Big V had to say. I'm like, what am I doing? I can't decide what to do. The only thing I know is football. But it was great. I got to reflect on my life and my career in the league. So it was really good and just sit down with my wife and just talk over a lot of things. Now, the Detroit Lions, we were really looking forward to that coveted offensive line. Frank Ragnow got injured the first game of the season. He missed the rest of that game, but then he came back and finished all 17. And we were unable to have that offensive line. But Big V coming back in the first place is pretty outstanding because after the surgery, according to the Detroit Free Press, he said he spent 2 weeks bedridden and nearly 5 months before beginning rehab to let the healing process sink in. So you're talking about 2 weeks of bed rest. Anybody that's been on bed rest know what that's like. And then another 5 months before you can even start rehab. So the fact that he is coming back to play is nothing short of a miracle. The article continues. He watched the Lions play from afar last fall. He yearned to be on the field with his brothers. It was just eating me alive, he said. Late in the season, he dropped by the team's Allen Park facility as they made a run for the playoffs that came just short. So, Big V, he wanted to be here. He wanted to come back. And it's one of those things that we're looking forward to see because I think he is going to make a difference. Now, the thing is, he's going to be competing for that starting role. He turns 30 next month, and he will be the fourth oldest player on the Lions roster. Check this out. Vaitai, who turns 30 next month and is the fourth oldest player on the Lions roster, agreed to a restructured incentive-laden contract this offseason that dropped his base salary by more than $6 million and voids after this year. He said he agreed to the deal because he wanted to stay with the Lions and his good friend Penei Sewell, who he's helped mentor over the past 2 seasons. And I think this is very telling right here. He said, I can't leave Penei. I can't leave my guys. I can't leave them. I love this team a lot. I want to help Dan Campbell win one. Now, that one he's referring to, obviously, is a Super Bowl, right? But this could very well be Big V's not only last year with the Detroit Lions, but his last year in the NFL. And he can help the Detroit Lions do a first. He can help us win the NFC North for the first time ever. He can help us win and host a playoff game in Ford Field for the first time ever. Ironically, right when Ford Field was built is when the divisions restructured. And I want to say it was the same year that they restructured that Ford Field was built. So those two things have never happened. So could you imagine Big V helping the Lions win a playoff game, helping them host a home playoff game, and maybe even getting that playoff game win and going even further. So Big V, man, coming out to battle with his brothers after a surgery, two weeks on bed rest, 5 months before he even began the healing process. That is a lot to say about this gentleman. And here's probably the last piece of this that I think I can't not mention it. Vaitai said his back feels great. After missing last season, he has a chip on my shoulder, so I'm going to come back strong. I feel like I took a step back, Vaitai said. Now I got to catch up and then keep going. So Vaitai is exactly what this team needs. Another guy with a chip on his shoulder. That's pretty much our entire team, from Aiden Hutchinson being drafted number 2 when he was slated to go 1 most of the pre-draft, to missing out on Defensive Rookie of the Year, which, in my opinion, no bias, he completely got shafted. So to Big V missing all of last year, contemplating retirement, and then deciding after a long year that he wanted to come back and help the Detroit Lions win. And it's going to be intriguing to see what this thing looks like, an even better offensive line than we had in 2022. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I got a question for you too. According to my analytics, 65%. That means 2/3 of you watch these videos on a consistent basis and you don't subscribe. So if you're not going to subscribe, at least let me know in the comment section what I could do to help you, to help me by chasing the mainstream media. I got to catch Woodward Sports. I got to catch, if you want me to have press credentials and things like that, I'm going to need the influence to do that. So if you want to help Detroit Lions Syndicate and the Syndicate Sports brand get to where we can give you insider information, then let's get this subscriber count, because that's the only way I'm really going to get noticed and make an impact. So let me know in the comments below what I can do for you to subscribe if you're part of that 66%. If you're part of that 34, I appreciate you. And even if you're part of 66, I still appreciate you because you keep coming back. So that means I'm on to something. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.